which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we please ask that you watch over us tonight, guide us in wisdom, and we ask that you look out for every one of us in this community, all of us, our potentially severe storm coming this way. We pray that you keep us safe, and we pray that you keep our first responders safe if they have to take care of any of those folks. We ask this in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Secretary, please call the roll.
Councilmember Jernigan?
Present.
Councilmember Harris? Councilmember Young?
Here.
Councilmember Carter?
Present.
Mayor Walker?
Here.
City Manager Rosenthal?
Here.
City Attorney Martin?
Present.
Chief Butler?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Lakes City Council has opened its public meeting since 1968. The city code has prohibited any persons from making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or becoming boisterous while addressing the city council. Yelling or making audible comments from the audience constitutes boisterous conduct. Such conduct will not be tolerated. There is only one approved manner of addressing the city council, that is to be recognized and then speak from the podium. As a reminder, persons are not to openly carry a handgun or carry a concealed weapon or firearm while the governing body is meeting. Failure to abide by the rules of decorum will result in removal from the meeting. We will go ahead and move on to approval of agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion,
Second.
a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yep.
I think Councilwoman Harris wanted to pull item number 2.
There's discussion? Right. Okay. So we have, want to pull that to the regular agenda from the consent agenda, that's item number 2.
Is there a change?
I just rather for all of her, the whereas to explain to the people and so it can be on the record of the things that she has done.
Just for further discussion, I believe this is the, all right. With that amendment, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, like sign? All right, perfect. We don't have any proclamations tonight, so we'll go ahead and move on to public participation. We will begin with Mr. George Hudson.
Good evening. I last addressed this council and governing body on August 19th of last year on the eve of the closing of Campbell Park at Lake Montgomery for construction. I challenged you to uphold the previous council's decisions made almost 3 years ago regarding the stipulations that were voted in to allow the new fishing pier to be built. These stipulations included fencing and gating the park along with opening and closing times for the park. These things were put in place to help ensure the preservation of the future of the lake and the safety and security of the residents that own 90% of the shores of the lake, along with the safety of the park, that as there are no lights on the pier. You met this challenge, and the park was reopened on January 10th, and I sincerely thank you. I would like to especially thank Director Steve Brown, who oversaw the construction of the fencing and gating of the park, and who will be managing it for the foreseeable future. I know that it was an extreme challenge due to 2 hurricanes passing through us and me being a thorn in his side. I understand that all things may not be perfect in this imperfect world, as there have been some rumblings in the chat world that I've heard about the times of the park. When it was decided that there would be time gates, of course, times of opening and closing had to be implemented. The times were instilled to pattern the opening and closing times of Alligator Park. I want to make some things perfectly clear. The FWC manages the fish and the aquatic plants of the lake, and the city controls and manages the park. FWC Director Chris Wynn has known from the beginning about these stipulations and has thanked me multiple times for my role with the council and their decisions. I can guarantee you this, not a single one of the chatterboxes and complainers out there live on the lake and have experienced the pollution that overuse will bring, and not a single one of them attended any council meetings or met with the FWC to be a part of this project. Most of them don't even fish the lake. Those complaining about night fishing, if they did fish at night, they were breaking the ordinance at that time for being in the park after sundown. There's only one person in this room that lives on the lake that was fully involved from the beginning, and he's standing here addressing you now. I urge you not to let any chatter make you change the direction of the management of the park anytime soon, but let the times play out. As I live on the lake closest to the pier, my daily schedule has been driving by the park, and I see what's going on in there. As far as I know, no boater so far has been locked in, but some folks have been locked in that ignored the signs and the posted hours, so the Lake City Police Department had to come get them out. There have also been some that jumped the fence already after hours. People will learn eventually. I would like to thank Lake City Police Department for their past and continued policing of the park and all of our city. Lastly, I would like to point out to those of you that were at the dedication, saw very little trash on the banks. Now it's tripled since the park is open. Thank you again, and I donated another sign. I didn't expect it to be displayed tonight, but this is to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. We do have a second speaker, but I believe that you want to speak whenever we bring it up, whenever we bring up the item. Is that correct?
That'd be great.
Okay, great. All right, we'll move on to approval of the consent agenda with the item number 2 moved to an independent item.
Move to approve the consent agenda with 7 minutes.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion, any further discussion? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Okay. Okay, consent agenda has been approved, and now we will move on to the independent item number 2, as you see it on your agenda, City Council Resolution number 2025-010. Mr. Martin, will you read that by title?
Just a second to catch up to you here. Okay, which agenda item are?
It's consent agenda item number 2.
Okay, I have that down in the other resolutions, I'm sorry. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, you have before you resolution number 2025-010, a resolution of the City of Lake City, Florida, directing the erection of signs along that certain segment of Northwest Escambia Street situated between Northwest Alachua Avenue and North Marion Avenue in honor of Apostle Cleopatra Steele, co-designating said street segment as Cleopatra Steele Street, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Should the council wish to adopt this resolution, an appropriate motion would be to adopt resolution number 2025-010 as read by title only.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. We do have public comment on this, so Ms. Shawna Lee Williams, would you like to come forward and speak?
Good evening. I am speaking in regards to the resolution number 2025-010. I am so honored as well as pleased that you as a city council have decided to commemorate Miss Dr. Apostle Cleopatra J. Steele. I have a list of names. These are gentlemen, women, and children that she not only feeds during the holidays, she feeds breakfast from 7 to 8. She also feeds dinner. That time frame is between noon and 1. And then she also has the opportunity to feed the homeless on Saturday as well as Sunday. She does not get any government funding for these said issues that are at hand. It was very disheartening, unfortunately, that you guys didn't know all of the things that Dr. Steele does in the community. I have been in District 10 my entire life. I went to Columbia County, and Escambia Street is right in the heart of District 10. And as anyone knows, on a night like this, we are overwhelmed with homelessness. And every day, no matter if it's raining, no matter if it's sleet, tomorrow Lat Soup Kitchen will be open. She will be providing meals. Today she provided coats. she provided blankets, and she provided hats. And so my question is to you, Mr. Don Rosenthal. I know you stated at the last meeting that you're already in the works to change the name of Escambia. I did some research. I understand the schematics of getting that done with 911. It's a lot of things that are going through, but I would love for the council to just look at all of the things that she has done. I know that's going to be presented to you later, but I would love for it not to just be an honorary sign. Honorary sign is still Escambia, and right below is going to be her name. And we know that she's an important part of the community. This is not something that's just happened, the last 4 years, the last 7 years. This is over 30 years. And unfortunately, we haven't had the honor to have all of you on the council or you as mayor for the last 33 years. But in Columbia County, we have had Dr. Apostle Cleopatra J. Steele. She works relentless to give back to the community, and she does it just out of the goodness of her heart. I think that it'll be a staple in our community so that you can know what she's doing, you can see what she's doing, and anyone who goes and Googles Columbia County and Lake City, Florida, they can see someone of her magnitude on it. I know I only have 3 minutes, so Ms. Sykes, you can let me know once I hit the buzzer, but I have John Henry, Leroy Brown, Mr. Dickey, Miss Olivia, Miss Johnson, Miss Merrick's, Miss Tammy, Miss Julia, Miss Frederick, Mr. Smith, Ronald J, John D, John E, John F, John K, Michael G, and the list can go on and on, because these are people that sign the list every morning and who are so grateful. Unfortunately, I made a flyer for them to come in, and yesterday we had over 17 of those people outside because I didn't know that. Unfortunately, the meeting wasn't yesterday and it was today. But I am very honored to have the privilege to speak to you guys, and once you do get to the resolution and you make that choice, if it hasn't already been done, if it's already been done, then it's already been done. But if there is an opportunity to make Escambia Cleopatra Steele Street, I think we will be doing an honor to our community as well as Lake City, Florida. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Currently, council, we do have the honorary item before us, and the other can come up in the future if we so move for that. But the item on the table is for the honorary naming of Escambia Street. So, do we have any discussion? Or would anybody like to make a motion?
Oh, just to say briefly, I thoroughly get Ms. Williams' point, although I think every street in town has a street named after someone that no one remembers who that is. No one remembers who maybe Escambia was. I don't know. That might be something I should know, but I feel like the honorary sign would make a point of drawing specific attention to her, and perhaps would be a little bit more visible and less likely to be forgotten in future generations. So to me, it seems like it would be an appropriate thing as we have it before us now. I'm not sure who Baskin was.
Like I said, what we have before us is the approval of the honorary. That's a good point. And if we so move to change it permanently and in the 911 system in the future, we can go through that process if you guys choose. But would anybody like to make a motion or have any further discussion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay. We'll make the motion to approve. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, will you please call roll?
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. Very good. All right. Now we're moving on to our presentation of the evening. Ms. Colleen Dudgeon with Seraphin and Associates.
She should.
Hello,
Good evening, Ms. Dudgeon. Can you hear us?
certainly can. Can you hear me?
We can.
Very good. I'm wondering if the share screen has been enabled on the Zoom. Are you aware? I've asked.
It is. IT
Okay,
says it is.
Okay, great. Should I get started or?
Yes, please. With the floor
Okay,
is
very
yours, Ms.
good.
Leslie. The floor is
Very-
yours.
Thank you very much. Well, hello, everyone. I would like to start by saying how jealous I am of each and every one of you. I just checked the temperature in Chicago. It is -4, but feels like -13. So, gee, I wish I was sitting in those behind one of those desks, or at least somewhere close to Lake City, Florida. As I said, my name is Colleen Dudgeon. I work at Seraphin and Associates. I'm a senior vice president. My background is in communications. I worked at the Today Show, NBC's Today Show, for 15 years. Prior to that, I worked 10 years in local television on the producing side and on the management side. And 6 years ago, I started here at Seraphin and Associates. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about Seraphin and Associates. If the screen is enabled, I'm going to do my best to get that to that screen. Can you see the screen?
We cannot, not yet.
Okay. Stand by. Okay. Here we go. How's that?
There it is.
There it is. Okay, so Seraphin and Associates, a little bit about us. We specialize in strategic communications, as I noted, and we work with cities and companies on image and reputation building, managing the narrative, managing the unexpected, positioning your city or company for success. Crisis communications, this is planning for the crisis before the crisis hits. So many people, organizations call us the day before they're about to be slammed in the newspaper or in the media, and we urge proper crisis communications, planning for it long before you end up with a nasty headline in the media outlet, in a media outlet. Critical issues management. Messages that match your values, your communications protocols to guide your interactions, and messengers to weather the spotlight's glare. Message development, defining key messages that move your business or your city forward. This is a lot of what we do in strategic planning, which is outlining what is the message that Lake City, Florida wants its residents to know, the state to know, potential businesses to know, the country to know about what the city has to offer. Digital and social media, we have to address that at a time when media outlets are so scarce and residents are relying more and more on digital and social media. So getting the right message to the right audience. We'll also discover in our strategic planning process, who are your audiences? Media relations, we've talked about, it is really understanding what is the media landscape and how can the right message be delivered to the media about what is going on with, in this case, Lake City, Florida. Executive positioning, this is something probably down the road. What do you, as leaders of Lake City, Florida, how do you position yourself to enhance the brand of your town, your city? Communications training, we spend a lot of time doing this. This is getting you ready to speak to what your goals and your mission is. Community relations, what's going to help Lake City, Florida become a better town to live in, a better city to live in? How are you going to share with your residents the success stories that you have and develop better success stories? Grassroots, grass tops outreach. This is building communications at the local, state, and federal levels. This is looking into public-private partnerships. This is discovering what grants are there that you already might be taking advantage of, but perhaps not. Something we will look into in our assessment phase as we start to work together. Coalition building, who are your allies there in Lake City, Florida? I know you have got some important businesses that are located and want to locate there, want to build, and I also know that you're a huge transportation hub. So how can we, as a team, organize those allies and leverage those companies' existing networks to better serve your residents and better serve your economic development needs? Event planning, this is something we can organize town halls and meetings with various stakeholders. I think this is, again, down the road, although we can talk about that. And these are a few, and I don't know if you were provided a written copy of this document, but these are a few case studies. We work for a variety of companies. We work for Vulcan Materials Company, and this outlines what we do for them: community relations, public affairs, and shared media. This is another case study of URW, which is the company that provides concessions at several major airports around the country. I don't believe they're in Tampa, but I'm sure they'd like to be. So this is integrated communications, government relations, community relations, and event production and management for URW. And this is crisis management, government, and public affairs for URW. And Walmart, we work with Walmart around in Illinois to engage with the media and to provide associates with decent internal communications. We are directed by people, the communications team in Bentonville. We've had Walmart as a client for 11 years, helped to bring 8 Walmart stores to the city of Chicago. There are 400 Walmart stores in Illinois. So I'm going to stop sharing that. And then I thought I would address the proposal itself, some key elements of the proposal, if I can find that.
Sure, please do.
Gotta go back to this. This is like producing a TV show. Okay. How's that? Can you see that?
Yes.
Very good. So I can certainly read the proposal, happy to do that, but I thought we would just go over the focus areas and some objectives that we defined in our research. Focus areas being economic development, affordable housing, safety, and community engagement. And then in the proposal, which hopefully you have a copy of this as well, we kind of get into some detail about what we think we should focus on, but frankly, it really is going to depend on our initial assessment. You guys may come back to us and say, wait a minute, what about marketing? We have to look into that. But this kind of clearly outlines, I believe, the key areas that we think need attention during the length of our engagement.
Excuse me.
All right.
Okay, I'll stop sharing and come back and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Dudgeon. Does anybody on the council have any questions for Ms. Colleen Dudgeon?
I do.
We have a question, Mr. Jernigan.
Thank you, Mayor, for recognizing. And Ms. Colleen, I just got a couple of questions. Lake City is a part of Columbia County. In your planning, are you gonna include Columbia County along with Lake City, or just Lake City itself?
Well, I think we have to find out what is the relationship. And what we start off doing, sir, are you an alderman? Are you older people?
Or councilman?
Yeah, I'm that, whatever you wanna call me, it's okay.
Okay, all right. We have to start out looking at what are the goals here. Maybe one of your goals is to establish better relationships with the county. and find out from the county what the county can do for you. So I guess I would say strategically, we would be meeting with or talking to and trying to figure out how can that be, how can that happen in a way that benefits both?
Yes, that was the first question. I think Mr. Rosenthal has came in and built a good relationship with the Columbia County. My next question is, are you aware of, you say you're out of Chicago? Where are you located?
I'm located in Chicago. I should mention though, for purposes of this discussion, that we recently merged with Mercury. It's a company called Mercury Strategic Communications and they provide all kinds of services, but they have offices, and I should say our new company has offices both in Tampa and Fort Lauderdale, which I think will be a huge asset to this project.
Yes.
My intention would be on our first meeting to bring in someone, and I'll be honest with you, this has happened very recently. So I need to look into who on the staff from Tampa would be able to assist and be readily available to you as well as myself
Yes.
in terms of this engagement. So
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. I hadn't got to the question yet. My question is, the second question is, are you aware of the Florida laws? One in particular, like the Sunshine State Law. Just laws that we have here in Florida versus the laws in Chicago and Alabama, Mississippi. We have laws here and regulations that we have to abide by. So I just want to see and hear you say you're aware of the laws. I'm pretty sure our city manager, Mr. Rosenthal, is well aware of the laws here in the state of Florida. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of the laws in the state of Florida. For example, we have a police department here, is the best in the business. So we have laws and rules and regulations that we must follow. As long as you guys are aware of that, I am all for this, if I could pronounce it the proper way, this planning stage that you're gonna do. I think Mr. Rosenthal's got us going in the right direction.
very good. Yes, I am aware of the law that requires that certain meetings be open to the public. Is that the law that you are referring to, sir?
Just about all of them. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about the police department.
Okay, sure, understood.
Okay.
I would need to find out, though, if that law applies to individual meetings that we might have with the police chief, for example.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Jernigan. Does anybody else have any questions for Ms. Deschen? Okay, thank you, Ms. Colleen. We appreciate the presentation tonight, and this will come up in just a few items, the strategic plan. So, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. Now we'll move on to old business, and we have an open public hearing, which is City Council Ordinance number 2025-2301 on final reading. Mr. Martin, will you read that by title?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. You have before you ordinance number 2025-2301, an ordinance pertaining to buildings, building regulations, contracting, permitting, licensure, and insurance within the city of Lake City, repealing existing provisions of city code, establishing certain uniform codes, establishing permitting fees and requirements, establishing insurance requirements, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Should the council wish to adopt this ordinance on second and final reading, an appropriate motion would be to adopt ordinance number 2025-2301 on second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Any discussion? Anyone want to make a motion?
Move to adopt city ordinance 2025-2301.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to new business. And item number 8, City Council Resolution number 2025-008. Mr. Martin, will you read that by title?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, you have before you resolution number 2025-008. A resolution of the City of Lake City, Florida, appointing Sophia Adams to serve in seat 3F on the city's Planning and Zoning Board, Board of Adjustment, and Historic Preservation Agency Board through October 31st, 2028, the end of the current term for said seat, making certain findings of fact in support thereof, recognizing the expiration of said term on October 31st, 2028, directing the city clerk to reflect said appointment and expiration of term in such records of the city as are necessary and prudent, making certain findings of fact in support of the city clerk reflecting such appointment and expiration of term in the records of the city, repealing all prior resolutions in conflict and providing an effective date should you wish to appoint Ms. Adams to these growth management and land use boards. An appropriate motion would be to adopt resolution number 2025-008 as read by title only.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Any discussion from the council? Mr. Young, would you like to say anything? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Not at all. We reviewed Ms. Adams' information that she provided. She does meet the qualifications to become a member of the Planning and Zoning Board. We encourage all residents to actively engage. Without them, we're at a standstill.
That's all right. That's all right. Thank you, Mr. Young. Any further discussion from the board? All right, would anybody like to make a motion?
Move to approve City Council Resolution 2025-008.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you. Any further discussion from the council? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and call for a vote. Ms. Sykes, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. All right, thank you. Now we'll move on to City Council Resolution number 2025-016. Mr. Martin, please read that by title.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and for the council, I will note there's a scrivener's error on this. It's, the resolution in the packet reads 2024-16, and it will be corrected to 2025-16 before signature of the mayor. Before you, resolution number 2025-16, a resolution of the City of Lake City, Florida, approving and adopting that certain strategic plan development process proposal prepared by Seraphin and Associates, Inc., making certain findings of fact in support of the city, approving and adopting said strategic plan development process proposal, directing the city manager to implement said strategic development process proposal, repealing all prior resolutions in conflict, and providing an effective date should the council wish to adopt resolution number 2025-016. An appropriate motion would be to adopt said resolution as read by title only.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Do we have any discussion from the council? Mr. Rosenthal, would you like to say anything?
Not at this time, Mayor, thank you.
Very good. All right, hearing no discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to, for City Council Resolution number 2025-016 to be approved at this time. Second.
We have a motion and a second, thank you. Any further discussion from the council? I'll say, I just want to add something. I think it's a great idea for us to move into some strategic planning of, I think it was outlined as 3, 5, and 10-year plans to set that mountain top that we want to climb to from where we are. I think it's a great move for us as a city, and I can't wait to engage. So that's all the discussion I had. If nobody has any other, hearing none, Ms. Sykes, please call the roll.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes. All right. Item number 10. This is a discussion item. This is for our city, Lake City, to host the Northeast Florida League dinner meeting on Thursday, December 18th, 2025. I think that we did this 2 years ago. So just wanted to bring that up and see what the appetite of the council was. I think that it would be a good thing for us to do. Anybody like to say anything?
Mr. Mayor, I think, if I understand it correctly, historically, we take turns each year with Lake Butler. So this past December, Councilwoman Young and Councilwoman Harris and myself attended the event in Lake Butler. It was very nice and well attended. So I think it would be nice to host it. Obviously, we have done in the past. I also think, just my personal opinion, I'd like to see it somewhere like the Blanche downtown. So, but yeah, obviously we got a year to plan it, but look forward to it.
Very good. Any other discussion?
Yes, if I could, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think it's a very, very good idea that whoever wanted us to host this event. However, I think it should be at one of the hotels out there, 90 West, especially the new one that they just built, or even one of the old ones. I think it'd be better suited out there instead of right here at the Blanche Hotel.
Very good. When is it typical, Ms. Sykes, do you know, for us to set those parameters?
I would give direction now, with the meeting being in December. Places will start filling up for holiday parties and such, so we would need a motion for staff to go ahead and start working on that, even though we would not budget for it until the budget cycle, but at least we can go ahead and start securing a location if that's the desire of the council.
We do have some beautiful facilities out there. Would anybody like to make a motion in that direction?
Yes. Go ahead, Clark.
Yeah, I will actually, could you ask what kind of motion we need to make? Do we need to bring back a resolution saying that we've confirmed the date, et cetera, or is it just?
Good point, Councilman. Mr. Martin?
I think for purposes of what's before you, a resolution would probably not be necessary. It's not precluded, but you don't have to have one. So you could just give whatever details you want to give and direction in your motion.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Mayor, I do believe we need to go ahead and set where it will be, because you have to go ahead and schedule those places. Their calendar fill up pretty fast.
Do they have a banquet hall in the new hotel?
Yes, sir, it's pretty nice. They also got one at the Holiday Inn Express. I think they got one at the Hampton. They got quite a few out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I may ask, what's the problem with the Blanche? There.
Well,
Go ahead. She's talking to me, or you?
just, I think in general, you're just asking in
I
general.
would just like to know, yeah.
What are the thoughts on Blanche? Yeah,
May I make my
Sure.
case for why I suggested it?
Yeah.
Obviously, the city has done a lot to help make the Blanche become what it is. I think the Blanche is kind of a gem in historic downtown, whereas it used to not be. I think we've been seeing consistent growth in downtown Lake City, and I like the idea of, I think most of the time, whenever folks want to bring someone from out of town to their place and they want to show them the charm and energy of their city, they usually take them to their historic downtown and so on and so forth. So obviously, I don't think any hotels in Lake City have a problem filling rooms, banquet halls or otherwise. I just think it's a beautiful venue. The city itself has put a lot of money into that project. And I think in the past I feel like it's been avoided actively. And I don't think we should continue to do that. The board's facility has been to a lot of events the chamber hosts there, so that's why I suggest.
Yes, and I
Councilman,
appreciate that.
yeah, please.
Yes, and I appreciate those kind comments for the Blanche Hotel. I have nothing but high remarks for the Blanche Hotel as well. I think a couple of years ago, we had right over here at Hellpatters, and that was a very, very nice facility downtown. The service was great. I attended that. And Miss Argent and her staff set that place up so well. It was very, very nice. So being at the Blanche, it is very, very nice. However, it's just right here. You know, when people come, they want to not only experience new things, but again, I just like to see it out there. And then we don't get it out there. If we get it at the Blanche, hell, we may not can get it at the Blanche. It may be full for that month or that day. So we got to have a primary and a secondary place that we can hold this event.
That's smart. Ms. Young,
And
sorry.
that's exactly right, that's why we say, I think we should go ahead and decide where. what venue, so we can go ahead and lock it in. Now, I have to say, Councilman Carter, this city has put a lot of money into it, but we have to pay for that place.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is all the more reason why we might as well use them.
So what I would ask for you guys to do, whenever we come to it, is have a primary location and have a secondary location whenever we make our motion. Mr. Jernigan, did you have another?
Yes, I just have one more comment, and that was basically what I was gonna say. Go ahead and direct the staff, which Audrey and the city manager to go ahead and try to get those venues set up. And it's all about money. So if the Blanche charges 10,000 and the Courtyard charges 5, I think that we should entertain that 5 instead of that 10. I'm just using that for an example. That's what I look for too. You know, anything Ms. Sykes get, I know for a fact it's gonna be great. So wherever we go, it's gonna be great.
That's one.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, I think there's a lot of potential places. So obviously I just mentioned Blanche, I think it's a good idea, but maybe we have staff look into available dates at many places and bring us back some options at the next meeting, instead of each of us arbitrarily picking.
It's the date specifically is December 18th.
Right.
First, we need to make sure that it's available. But why don't we, yes ma'am, you had
I
some
would like
discussion.
to compare the cost,
Mhm.
how much it is for the Blanche versus the hotels or what have you.
Perfect. Ms. Sykes?
Mayor, if council would just authorize to host the event on December 18th, we can work out the details later, and we will be glad to get you the estimates, availability of the different locations, but really, I think what we're just looking for right now is, does the city want to host the event on December 18th? That's really what I need right now, and then I can move forward and bring something back at a later date, but we just need to know if we're working on it or if we're not.
That's nice, clean, and easy. Would anybody
Yeah.
like to make that motion?
I'd like to make a motion.
So a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, Ms. Sykes, please call the roll.
Ms. Harris?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Jernigan?
Yes.
Mayor Walker?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're on to comments by council members, and we will start with Vice Mayor Young.
I have no comment tonight. I did, but it went away. Go ahead.
Okay. Councilman Jernigan.
As always, I'd just like to give a shout out to the police department and the job that they have before them. So just keep it going, and whatever that I could do to help the Lake City Police Department and the staff there, the fire department. I mean, there's just so many first responders out there that's doing such a good job, and the line staff for the city of Lake City. Oh, somebody's whistling at me. But yeah. But anyway, that's all I got.
Nice. Thank you, Councilman Jernigan. Councilman Carter.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have, actually have a statement that I prepared that I would like to read, if I could bend everybody's ear for just a minute or two or three. I'll go through as quickly as I can. But this is just a statement I prepared, I'd like to share with the council, mayor, and the city. When a person chooses to enter politics, especially local politics, it's rarely for a lust for power or to abuse influence. From my experience, it seems like it's the draw of all of those gifted with a love of their communities and a desire to be the man or the woman in the arena, to step up and to lead through service to one's neighbors and friends. I believe very much that that is the case with the folks I have the opportunity to share this board with. With that also comes tremendous responsibility. Every day, those same friends and neighbors, through the taxes we have the authority here to levy, give a portion of their hard-earned money to the city of Lake City with the assumption that we will do our utmost to spend it conscientiously, invest it wisely, and save it when we can. 5 months ago, our city manager asked us to increase the ad valorem taxes to a tune of an additional $364,000 in revenue for the city from the taxpayers. This board denied that request. It's my opinion that that denial was a mandate to get creative, to increase revenue through annexation and investment, to reduce spending, and to tighten the belt. a desire for us to streamline this ship, become a more efficient government, so as not to increase the burden on an already burdened citizenry. The purpose of the city's budget is to create a plan for how we allocate funds, outline our expected expenses, letting us keep track of spending, save for goals, and ensure the necessary costs are taken care of and planned for. At this board's last meeting, a resolution was on the table to provide $100,000 to the county to continue funding for a SHIP program project that was supposedly promised but not delivered on. Somehow, that became 2 projects, then quickly 5 projects, and $200,000. With little hesitation, we gave nearly $250,000 of taxpayer money away in a well-meant but very haphazard fashion. The arbitrary nature of these actions is, in my opinion, the antithesis of what we have been sent here to do. We have been sent here to make conscientious and oftentimes difficult decisions, but most of all, we are sent here to be good stewards of our citizens' hard-earned money and to try to guide our community's growth to a brighter future for our children and theirs. Every time we spend a dime, we must constantly remind ourselves that this is not our money, but it is our responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Carter.
I'm ready for my comment.
Well, let me come back around to you and finish. All right, Councilwoman Young.
Yes, I kind of felt that. First of all, this is taxpayers helping taxpayers. This is not money spent to non-taxpayers. We're responding to this as though we're helping someone who's not helping themselves. And let me say this, if I can, I'm gonna find the best, manner to say it in. It was on the table to help one person. 5 people were approved. It's not like we opened new applications. 5 people were approved. One person was gonna be granted, assistance with right at $100,000. With $200,000, you helped 5. If you can save 5 people with another $100,000, 5 people who we approve their applications saying we can help you, right? So if we approve the application saying we can help you, why not fulfill it? Just leave them hanging. That's not the right thing to do. I feel like we did the right thing. We helped those who were left out after being approved. Applications being approved, and as far as I'm concerned, when we say you're approved, okay, we're gonna help you. And then to just drop them off, and I don't know these people, but I know we approved applications to help them with their housing situations. And it was brought to the table to help 1, and then doors open to help 5. I just believe we did the right thing.
Thank you, Councilwoman Young.
Mr. Mayor, may I respond briefly?
Sure, please.
I just want to be clear, as I said in my statement, I do believe that all of our intentions are good here. And I have no problems with the desire to help people. I think that we all want to help people. That's why we're here. My only point with this is that money was taken from contingency. That's not what that's for. And then my next question is, how much money is in contingency? How many more things can we fix until the money in the contingency is no longer there at all? We budget for a reason, and that is being a good steward of the people's money. We didn't budget for that. We didn't budget for $100,000, much less $200,000. I completely empathize with the desire to help people. And I don't see anything wrong with budgeting in the future to help with that program again, but at some point the money stops and then the cycle repeats itself. I think that every time the opportunity arises for us to throw money at an issue, we have to think very hard about it before we do it, because oftentimes it's not planned for. And if we aren't going to increase the taxes, we have to be a little bit smarter about that. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Councilman Carter. All right, Councilwoman Harris.
For comment, I'm at a loss. Why are we talking about this when it's already been approved?
It was the council comment, so my opportunity to share whatever I like.
So it's open comment.
All right, I would like to do a special shout out to the Annie Maddox crew that did the Martin Luther King thing on, Monday. I thought it was excellent. Dana Jernigan and her whole Anna Maddox team, they did a wonderful job. Also, I'd like to send some love to, Don and Dee. They have been like little worker ants, trying to make things happen for the city. And I just wanna give y'all a shout out, cause I thought that anytime I call y'all, y'all got an answer for it. You're so polite, and I really appreciate that. You're making my job easy.
Thank you, Councilman.
Also, I would like to say to Steve and his crew, I appreciate them doing their due diligence on keeping the streets clean, because at one time it wasn't good, but now it's clean, they even age, and I'm just happy about that. So I'd like to let them know that their work is being noticed. Thank you.
One more thing, Mayor, if I may. We do have Black History Month coming up in February, and where we normally go to the college and present the proclamation. They say kickstart initiating Black History Month, like open the doors for the city for Black History Month. And we will continue to do the proclamation, but we will also carry it out at Richardson Community Center. That will be on the 6th of February. The program carried out at Richardson Community Center, and this is the city and Florida Gateway College, just as we would with the proclamation. Program will start at 6 o'clock, and we will get more specific information, I'll say.
Thank you.
Program outline and
Thank
everything.
you. Yes, sir, Mr. Rosenthal.
Yes, Mayor, I'd just like to mention that we told you earlier that we weren't gonna close the city, but the weather's gotten progressively worse.
Yes.
So we're gonna close the city effective tomorrow.
Yes, and that's been put out on Facebook
been
for
put out.
everybody who's
It's been
listening.
put out
Make sure
through-
that you
Joyce, I think she
check
used a
it.
number of avenues to get it out.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenthal.
Yes,
My closing comments, everybody stay warm. I want to echo Councilman Jernigan and thank our first responders. Thank you guys. I know that you guys probably have a pretty tall and slippery task in front of you here over the next 24 hours. Also would like to give a shout out and appreciation to the Apostle Cleopatra Steele for allowing me to provide a resolution at her ceremony on Sunday afternoon. It was a beautiful ceremony, and then yesterday at Mount Pisgah AME as well on Washington Street, that was a beautiful ceremony. Really enjoyed both of those things. One last thing, I got to tour our wastewater facilities with Mr. Cody Pridgeon. He did a great job teaching me all about what keeps our city clean and smelling nice, even though those facilities themselves may not smell so nice all the time. So, really appreciate everybody. Yes, ma'am.
I have one thing before we adjourn.
Yes, ma'am.
We forgot to mention back on the consent agenda, there is a scrivener's error on one of the resolutions. It was item number 4, City Council Resolution 2025-012. It references Florida Department of Economic Opportunity, and it should read Florida Department of Commerce. So we will be making that correction. I just wanted to go on the record that we would be making that simple correction.
That was a rebranding at the state level. Also want to mention 2 events coming up for anybody who's watching. Coffee with a Cop, Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. That's going to be at 8:30 to 10 a.m. It's going to be at IHOP. So if you want to have coffee with some of Lake City's finest, go out there and do that. It's going to be at IHOP, one of our great. Yeah, we get breakfast too. You get breakfast and coffee, and then breakfast with the chief. Breakfast with the chief will be Saturday, January 25th. That's this Saturday, from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Go have breakfast with our chief, but don't give him any grief. That is going to be at the American Legion, Post 57. It'll be on South Main, and that is this Saturday. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Nice meeting. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Council.
Mayor, when we're doing proclamations, or maybe I missed it in a mailbox or something, but when we're doing proclamations, when we have engagements for proclamations, can we just let the council know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. So yeah, some of those are one-off outreaches to me, and I'll do a better job of making sure that we get those out to everybody. So it's my fault. Thank you very much. All right. If we have nothing else, we are